Hello, and welcome to our Stage 33 About the Language 1 review. We're going to talk about the future active indicative. So, before we can talk about the future active indicative, we're going to have a quick review of principal parts because conjugation actually matters quite a bit with the future active indicative. So, remember when you look up a verb in the dictionary in the back of the book, or when you memorize a verb from a vocab checklist, it's going to have principal parts. Porto, portare, portavi, portatus. I carry, to carry. I carried, or I have carried, and having been carried. If you look at this second principal part, the vowel that's there will let you know what conjugation the verb belongs to. So if it's a long A, then it's first conjugation. If it's a long E, it's second conjugation. If it's a short E, it's third conjugation. And if it's a long I, it's fourth conjugation. So with that in mind, let's look at the present indicative active by way of review. And remember, the present indicative active is the first tense of the verb that we learned. And we translate it, I carry or I am carrying. So for all conjugations, the present indicative active uses these personal endings. They're called personal endings because they show you what person and number the verb is. So O, S, T, mus, tis, and then this NT. So I carry, you carry, he carries, we carry, y'all carry, they carry. So we know all that. And we should also know, Porto is a first conjugation verb, that the vowel that appears before that personal ending depends on conjugation. So for porto, portare, it's for first conjugation, so that vowel wants to be a long A, but it disappears before the O, and it's shortened here and here before final T and NT. But elsewhere, it's a long A. And we can compare a second conjugation verb like dokeo, dokere, where the vowel before the personal ending wants to be a long E. It gets shortened before the long O, but it doesn't completely disappear, and is shortened before the final T and NT. The third conjugation is the toughest conjugation, because the vowel that appears before the personal ending should be a short E, but it's a really short vowel, so it's pretty unstable. So it disappears before the first person singular long O, and then it changes to a short I everywhere else, except in the third person plural. Latin is not fond of an int ending. It avoids it when it can. And so instead of trahint, we have trahunt. Now the fourth conjugation is a bit easier. The vowel before the personal ending wants to be a long I. That's a good strong vowel, so it actually is shortened, but it sticks around before that final O. And then it's shortened before the final T here. And again, Latin doesn't like an int ending, so that's why we stick in that U there for audiunt. Okay, so that's the whole present indicative active of all four conjugations. Now let's take what we just saw and compare it with the future indicative active. So I will carry, or I will be carrying. So first, the first conjugation, so porto, portare. So the future indicative active of the first and second conjugation, we're going to use those same OST, mus, tis, NT personal endings, but we're going to use this future indicative active tense sign, bi. Okay, now that short I there, though, disappears before the long O, and then we have it bis, bit, bimus, bitus, and then Latin doesn't like an int ending, so instead of bint, we get bunt. So we have bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitus, bunt. That's what we get when we combine this bi with the personal endings we already saw in porto, portas, portat. Same exact thing for the second conjugation verb, dokeo, dokere. Doke and bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitus, bunt. So in the first and second conjugation, you have the stem from the second principal part, porta, doke, plus these endings. The third conjugation is tougher because in the third and fourth conjugations, the future indicative active isn't signaled by that bi, but by a vowel change. A in the first person singular, E in the other persons. And instead of the OST, mustis, NT endings, we have the MST, mustis, NT endings that we see like in the imperfect, bomb, ba, spot. Okay, so MST, mustis, NT. Here we have an A, and everywhere else it wants to be a long E. But again, final T and NT shorten that long E. Okay, some people remember the mnemonic ham and 5 eggs, right? An A and then these 5 E's. Let's look at the fourth conjugation. It's exactly the same, right? But that long I sticks around as a short I. Okay, so audiam, audiace, audiat. What's tricky here is that if I gave you the form docat, you need to know that that's a second conjugation verb. So that E means it's present, and the future would actually be docebit. But if I give you trahet, that's a third conjugation verb. So that E means future. And the present would actually be trahit. So doket is present, trahit is present, but dokebit and trahet are future. Okay, and one more mnemonic: bo, bi, bu in 1 and 2, first and second conjugations. A, then E in 4 and 3, the fourth and third conjugation. So bo, bi, bu in 1 and 2, A, then E in 4 and 3. And that's it for the future indicative active.